Hi everyone, Melissa from Going My Own Pace here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like to be improving with chronic illness. So, I have had chronic illness for a long time. The symptoms started as early as around 14 that I can remember, and they progressed, the pain progressed, and the sleep problems progressed over my teenage years. And then when I was in my last year at university, I got some kind of bug, some kind of thing that we never named. And after that is when the chronic fatigue set in. And so for a long time, I struggled to do what you're supposed to do. Eventually, I got the word fibromyalgia given to me, but I feel like that might have been it just happened to fit, right? You had the pain, you had the fatigue, you had the sleep issues, and they didn't really know much more about the other things at that time. And obviously now we know that I have hypermobility, and that is probably like the background cause. And I think the endometriosis and whatever was going on with my periods was definitely a background cause. So in the last kind of 15 years, I've really improved. I have put everything into my journey, into doing it like just as much as I can to improve, and I have improved greatly. I was in moderate to severe pain levels every single day 15 years ago, and now I'm in mild to moderate. And actually, I've put myself into a flare, because improving with chronic illness is a tricky business, because you need to like balance very carefully. And at the moment, it gets thrown off very quickly. And because I've been doing so well, I've been trying to live my life and catch up on goals that I've had. I've published nonfiction books, and I did that with great difficulty over many years, with the help of my brother, a lot of help from my brother. This is the most recent one that I published for adults. Obviously, the fibromyalgia word doesn't quite fit anymore, but the book still fits, because with hypermobility, you don't change the plan. Like, managing the symptoms is how it works, right? You manage the chronic pain, you manage the chronic fatigue, manage the insomnia, that kind of thing. But one thing I didn't think I would be able to do, or I kind of hoped that maybe I would be able to do it when my kids were grown, was write fiction. And I've got hard drives full of little stories I've started, and one story which is like 20,000 words that I remember working on in my 20s when I was really unwell, but I had quiet afternoons in the weekend, no responsibilities, and no ability to really do anything. So I would work on it then. But it's all been sitting quietly in the drive. But the last few years, little things have come to me, like little ideas. I remember one trip we went on, and I had this idea that just took me by the head, and I had to write it down. So I like really quickly wrote it down in a Google Doc, and it is now sitting there at about 11,000 words, waiting for me to explore and finish writing and edit. And this year I decided was going to be the year that I wrote my book. And I decided I wanted a character who had fibromyalgia, and I wanted to explore what a romance novel might look like with a strong character who happened to have chronic illness. And I wanted to slow them down on purpose, using mindfulness practice, to bring someone who was very high energy, very busy, together with someone who was lower energy, and see how they met in the middle. And so that's how I got into my book, Mindfully Yours, Ella, which is coming out in May. It's with the beta reader right now, and then we're getting it edited. So I'm very excited. But in the meantime, my brain is just like, yay, I'm free. And it's got all these ideas. And then I went on and started writing a sequel to this book. And then I picked up that book that I'd been working on in my 20s, and I have caused myself a flare. I have made myself 10 steps backwards. Because that's the really hard thing. Like, when you spend your entire 20s and most of your 30s just basically trying to meet your daily function need as a person and as a parent, there's no time for that other stuff. And so then when you start to feel better, it's like a feeling of euphoria, and you're so excited and you can do the things, and then you creep it up and up and up and you overdo it, and then you go, oh, I remember this. Like I'm waking up with all of these muscles right down here so tight and sore and just headaches, and you're like, oh, I remember this and I don't want this. So now I have to pull it back, be more mindful, and try and pace it out. Still pacing it. I've come a long, long way, but I still need to pace, because everyone needs to pace. I think when you don't use chronic illness terminology, it's called a work-life balance, and we all struggle with it. I see women struggling with it. I see how busy people are and how much is on them, and I recognize the value of my experience, knowing that I have had to slow down, that my body would not let me do certain things, and it's been a blessing in disguise in that sense. So I go back to pacing. I go back to my pain management plan, my if this then that management plan. I'll put the link to that below for you, in case you're curious, because I really think a practical if this then that pain management plan has been so valuable for me. And I need to pick up where I left off. One thing I noted last week is I knew my symptoms were increasing. I knew I was dealing with a lot of pain, and I was avoiding writing it in my symptom log. My brand new one actually just came, which is really cool. It's my pretty one. But I was writing in here in the symptoms, and I realized I was trying to write 3.8. And I was like, dude, I know it's a 4. And I know a 4 means it's time to start looking at my like pain management ladder, because we're getting up there and we're gonna make the nervous system get mad in a minute. So yeah, it's those little awareness things, and it's back to basics. Okay, it's for me, I don't know about you, but I find it very helpful, the bare minimum symptom tracking, so we're not thinking about it all day every day, but we're being proactive, the pain management plan, and actually being honest with ourselves, even if we, think that we're doing so well, we don't need medication. The point isn't not medication. The point is living our life and having a quality of life and feeling good and doing what we want to do and not making ourselves sicker again. And then we make smart pacing plans, and I recommend writing it down. However, that suits you. I mean, I've got the paced planner where I put the daily log beside the daily planner, and we look at like what is a high energy task and what is a low energy task, and start to get a sense of our day like that, and not just talking about how much we do in a day, but where we put our activities. The higher energy activities put where we have the higher energy. For me, that's kind of mid-morning. I've got to get stuff done. So that's really useful as well. But just all those things, everything I've talked about here, like if you could go back in the videos, let me know in the comments if you have a particular area that you want to work on, because I've got the blog posts, I've got the videos. You can find them all in my playlist as well. So I hope that helps. Let me know, are you here with me in the trying to improve? Maybe you've also smacked yourself down. I'm so tired. I want to go back to bed, but now I've got to go do the children and get on with the day. I hope you're well, and I hope this helps. Catch you again.